Meg has been in Brawl Stars for over 3 years now, and she has went from one of the least used brawlers in the game to one of the most popular brawlers in Brawl Stars. So let's take a look at this brawler's jam-packed history and rewind all the way back to September 28th, 2021, when Meg was first released into the game. Everyone was extremely hyped for the 6th legendary brawler to be put into the game, and saved all their boxes in hopes of unlocking this new and unique brawler. For those who got lucky enough to get Meg, had no regrets in using their resources to max her, because she was absolutely broken. For starters, she got her super in about 3 ammo, and that super was so good against the other brawlers in the game at the time. Also, you were able to use her in literally any modes, because she was just that good. But only 2 days later, Meg got a very necessary emergency nerf, which would make her lose her super if she was defeated while using it. She now spawned with no ammo if she lost her mech, and she also took a longer time to start healing after she lost her mech, basically the opposite of Tick's star power. 7 days after all this chaos, Meg's self-destruct star power was added into the game, but this didn't really help her so much. So Supercell decided to give her a small buff which would make her keep 1 ammo after her mech was destroyed. Her self-destruction star power was also renamed to Heavy Metal, and she was a really average brawler after all of this. She stayed like this for another 3 entire months, until finally she got a buff to her Heavy Metal star power, with its damage being buffed from 1000 damage to 1500 damage. This wasn't too helpful though, because her other star power was just better anyway. But along with this buff, she got a pretty significant nerf, bringing the amount of hits it took her to get her super from 6 hits to 8 hits. Because back then, Meg didn't actually start with her mecha. Instead, you had to charge it first and then you could use it. But it would also use health the longer you were in it anyway, so any nerf to that super was very damaging to her as an overall brawler. Within about 3 months, she got a bunch of visual fixes and her Beetle Meg skin was added. And then on the 31st of August, her supercharge rate went from 8 hits to 7 hits. And a little bit after that, her non-mecha form's health was increased to 2300 from 2200. And these buffs did make her better by a tiny bit, but still not enough to bring her back into the meta, especially at high levels of gameplay. And for the next 6 months, she was completely left in the dust and forgotten about by the dev team, until they decided to completely rebalance the brawler by giving her 3 buffs and 4 nerfs all at the same time. This kind of came out of nowhere and was unexpected by the community. Firstly, Meg's metal wouldn't lose health over time anymore, and she could also regenerate her health while she was in the mecha. And she no longer got reduced healing from her teammates. However, she got some huge nerfs along with these buffs. Firstly, the mecha's health was decreased from 5000 to 4000 health. Her mech's main attack damage was reduced from 240 per bolt to 210 per bolt. The mech's super damage was reduced to 1700 damage from 2400 damage. And the number of hits to charge her super was increased to 8 from 7. These insane changes made Meg become one of the best brawlers in the entire game, despite all of the nerfs that came with it. And this insanity lasted for 20 days. Until Meg once again got nerfed to the ground. Firstly, Meg's force field star power damage was reduced to 25% damage reduction from 35%, and the time it lasted was reduced to 10 seconds from 30 seconds. That's an insane 66% nerf to how long it lasted. And as if that wasn't already enough, her mecha's health was once again reduced, this time from 4000 HP to 3700 HP. And the healing from her Jolting Volts gadget was reduced from 450 HP per second to 300 HP per second. These changes made Meg a little bit worse, but it didn't really affect her that much, seeing as the star power, you don't really need 30 seconds anyway, 10 was like what you really need. And the gadget, seeing as she didn't lose health, this didn't really affect her much. She just needed a healer on her team. It wasn't until the 29th of April 2024 where she got her next change, and this was mutations. Basically, if you didn't play then, these are literally just insane star powers. And Meg's mutations stood out compared to other brawlers, because the amount of projectiles she fired per shot went from 8 to 16. But the problems came after the mutations event ended. About 2 months after the event ended, Supercell has an idea to make Meg good again. You know, just a couple of buffs, what the fuck? Yeah, they just decided to add her mutation back into the game, along with a bunch of nerfs with it. Her health was put back up to 4000. She now shot 16 projectiles per ammo. Her mech's reload time was increased by almost 50%, and her gadget's healing was increased to 448 per second from 450. She did get a few nerfs too, but they were so irrelevant compared to how many insane buffs she got. And after 2 small nerfs, a couple of months after all that, this brings us to today. Meg is one of the best brawlers in the game right now, unless Supercell decides to finally nerf her. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more. I will hopefully be posting more soon, and yeah.